Part 5, 3D Experimental Protocol. If you want to run your own 3D experiments, you may want to use these things called triads strapped to limb segments. It's just 3 markers strapped to your limb. These markers don't move with respect to each other, nor do they move with respect to the limb to which they are strapped. To run these experiments, you must do a calibration trial. As the triads are not meticulously placed, it is almost definite that the orientation of the triads does not match the orientation of the animated versions of the limbs. That is why we must record the subjects while they are standing in anatomical position, which is the orientation of the animations. The subject stands in anatomical position where his sagittal, his frontal, transverse planes are all aligned to the XZ, YZ, XY planes respectively. This way, the global coordinate system matches the local coordinate system for each limb segment. We'll call this the anatomical system. Now, you can assume that 1000100001 is the orientation of that anatomical system, which is nested in the local system of the triad, which we will call the triad system. We must save the transformation from the triad system to the anatomical system. So how do we do this? We must transform the anatomical ijk vectors themselves into the triad system. To do this, we use C-transform. Now we want to save the anatomical ijk vectors within the triad system. Now why do we want to do that? Well, it's because that the triad system always perceives the limb segment in the exact same way, the limb that it is attached to. That perception never changes between the triad system and the anatomical system. And we want to save that perception. How does the triad system perceive the anatomical system? And to save that, we must save the anatomical ijk vectors inside the triad system. And to do this, we use the following formula. The anatomical ijk vectors within the triad system equals to C-transform from the 1000100001 ijk vectors. Now, why do we use that? Well, because at this point during the calibration trial, the global system is exactly equal to the anatomical system in terms of orientation. So we can safely say that that is the orientation of the anatomical system. So we want to transform from the anatomical system, which happens to be those ijk vectors, to the triad ijk vectors, which we can get from our data. And what do we want to transform? Well, we want to transform the ijk vectors of the anatomical system as perceived by the anatomical system. So that is always 10000010001. So now if I want to animate the limb segment, I can do the following. 1. Get the triad ijk orientation from the triad's 3 markers. For this I use that cross product method explained before. 2. Make the triad vectors unit vectors. 3. Transform the anatomical ijk vectors that we stored in that triad system, transform that out of from the triad system to the global system to get the orientation of your animation limbs. So to do that, the new anatomical ijk vectors in the global system is equal to C-transform from the triad ijk vectors to 10000100001. Now this is the global system, not anything else. This is the global system. And you want to transform the anatomical ijk vectors that we had saved in the triad system. And lastly, transform the vertices from your animation into the global system, again using C-transform. So the limb vertices will equal C-transform from the anatomical IJK vectors that you just calculated in step 3. From that system to the global system, 100010001, and you want to transform those limb vertices that you had stored in those text files. And there you have it.